on the Patros Podcast, we do not want to present to you Andrew Tate.
No.
We don't really want to present to you Jordan Peterson, even though a lot of what Jordan Peterson says I agree with.
Yeah,
and that there is value in this idea of servant leadership wrapped in an identity based in Christ.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Patros Podcast. We still don't have a tagline, so we're trying to figure that out. My name is Allan Pereira, and my co-host, Jeff Ford. What's up, bro?
What up? What up? How are you doing?
I'm chilling, man.
Hey, can I, for the people at home?
Okay.
You did a bang-up job on this set.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
It looks really nice.
You know, all glory to Jesus. That's the church answer.
All glory to
For us
God.
to never get
HGA.
just destroyed with lightning and for take credit for anything.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir. Because I'm a guy, I don't know how to take a compliment and just take it on the chin and enjoy it.
We do have a problem with that.
It's so crazy. I don't get it.
I don't know why we do that either. But yeah, good to be here
Yes, sir.
with you again. Welcome everybody to the Patros Podcast, episode number 2.
Dois. Ni.
That's all we got.
I don't know any-
Duh.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Duh. Episode duh. When you put it that way. So listen, we're happy you're with us again today. We're going to be talking today a little bit about the influencers that are out there and what is the alternative to masculinity, right? There's been a wholesale rejection on a large part, I think, of today's youth. And, you know, for those of you joining us for the first time, the Patros Podcast is really designed to take a look at masculinity. What does that look like?
Yeah.
We want healthy masculinity. We don't.
We desire that.
We desire that. It's easy to fall back into the non-healthy masculinity
Because we're human and we mess up.
and the reality is, like, men are dogs. Like, if left to our own devices, you know, there is in Genesis where it talks about God giving us Eve, right? He gave Adam Eve, and that word is translated helper in a lot of, like, most of but it's actually a helpmate. And so the idea of the woman and the man is that it's almost like if you think of two boards, like at a pyramid, like holding each other up, like the one board is pressing against the other board.
Like there's a tension.
There's tension in it.
But it's needed.
Correct. So in other words, like, the woman was created to push against the man, like push against I believe our baser instincts that produce actually toxic masculinity. You know, like the things where we're just like, you know, I have a friend of mine who is like, you know, really struggling with the whole gay thing, right? Like, his wife has a sister who's gay, and he, you know, he's Roman Catholic, and he's just like, you know, I'm just really struggling with that, and you know, we're at odds, and you know, they're like, if we just want to love each other, you know, if it's, you know, whatever, why isn't it okay? And they said it's natural. Like, if it's just natural for us to do that, and I'm like, okay, so if everything is natural, are we okay to do that?
Because natural doesn't always mean good.
Correct.
And normal doesn't always mean good.
Correct.
So, like, regardless if it's, like, which the scriptures say it's unnatural for, like, homosexuality, but not even, it says, actually, I just listened to a podcast today on this, and they were, like, looking at the Greek in Romans, and it was saying homosexuality isn't, like, a good translation. It was actually to actively be in intercourse with the same sex. It wasn't to be just attracted, right? Yeah. But, yeah, like, what's normal for a lot of men is to lust after other women and want to sleep with other women, and that's where, like, your Andrew Tates or whatever. And
right, and so if that's normal or if that's natural, is it a good thing?
Yeah, because our sin nature wants us to do what's not good for us. Yeah,
correct. Something that is, you know, natural for us may indeed not be normal, though. Normative behavior, like, in other words, like how God created it. You may think it's natural, but it's actually anything but.
Yeah.
So, you know, the argument is that we need to think through those things. Just because something comes to us, well, I feel this. Like, you can't deny my feelings. No, I cannot deny your feelings. Your feelings are your feelings.
Yeah.
So how do we navigate that without bringing in some kind of patriarchy or some kind of dominant view or saying, well, you got to listen to me just because I'm the man.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's not what's up.
Well, like when you talk about, so my wife worked at a safe home for sex traffic victims, and they know that the pimps and the men were bad for them. They know that the environment that they were in, the drugs that were forced on them are bad for them, but that does not change the fact that they crave them. It does not change the fact that they crave the men. So their feelings are real. And those feelings are 100% authentic and real, but that doesn't mean that they're good. And so like someone can become an addict and have real feelings that they want that cocaine, but it doesn't mean it's good for you. Yeah. And so if we just base off of what's normal for you now or what's become normal for you or a craving of yours, like we have to have a basis of truth, which is obviously the scriptures.
Yeah, I mean, I get the feelings argument, but it's just not, when you break it down and look at it objectively, it really is harmful. Yeah. I mean, I can't think of, or I can't tell you how many times that I have felt the need to do one thing, and if I hadn't have been able to step outside of myself, look at it objectively and go, okay, is this a decision? You know, A, as a Christian, does it honor God? But B, does it produce results that will give me life? Right? And
is it productive?
Right. And so if I can look at that decision and look 2, 3, 4 steps down the way, but I know a lot of folks, it's difficult to do.
Yeah.
Right. And we talked about on this podcast about the fatherless issue and how many kids are growing up without a father. Yeah. And there are a lot of trauma, especially when you get into those who not necessarily the dad wasn't around for whatever reason, but like he wasn't around because he was beaten on mom or he was sexually abusing the kid. Now you're dealing with layers of trauma that are speaking into a much more difficult decision-making process. And a lot of those folks who have been through that kind of trauma, it is difficult to see down the road because survival is number one, right? So I think, we've got to wrestle with these things. Yeah. Right. And we're going to do that a little bit today, talking about, a little about like these alternatives to biblical masculinity. But before we do that, so there was this is just kind of fun, I think, there was an article a while back, and it was done by BuzzFeed. And some of these are really stupid.
BuzzFeed always has some random stuff.
It's just some random. And it's usually...
Well, you have to think, like, they have to figure out content just to keep people's eyes. That's
how can we be shock jock too? Yeah. But, like, I thought it was interesting. You can find these online, but there's 36 questions that women want to know of guys. So I'm going to ask a couple of these maybe, and we'll see. Like, maybe I hope women are tuning into this too, because we do want to give an accurate depiction of what healthy masculinity is, or at least what it should be. Yeah. We are not the guardians of it. We're going to mess it up, but we aspire.
Yeah, we intend to do our best.
Correct. So if y'all are hearing this is why men think the way that we do. So the one question, well, I'm going to do, some of them are kind of, I'm not going to mention it, but this one is, all right, so why do you hate romantic comedies, or do you feel like you just have to hate romantic comedies? Because you're a dude.
I love romantic.
Oh, of course.
That's what I'm like.
You screwing this.
This is the curse of being like a sensitive dude. And I love rom-coms. There's like just a vibe. I don't even like, Alexis doesn't even need to ask to watch it. I'll just watch it. I don't know. Wait, why do you hate romantic do you not like rom-coms?
I don't really have a strong opinion. Like, I think for me, it's more about who's the actor.
Facts.
If there's an actor that, like, if like Adam Sandler, like, now I'm dating myself, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right, Adam Sandler.
It's a vibe.
Well, he was the man, like Billy Madison, like one of my favorite all-time movies.
50 First Dates.
But 50 First Dates,
you didn't like?
No, I loved it because Adam Sandler was in it.
Well, and the concept, it was so.
That was a great concept. Yeah. So I don't hate him just to hate on, but it's not my first choice, but it's always my wife's first choice.
But like on a day where it's just like it's raining, you got maybe some ice cream in the freezer, or y'all went and got your favorite ice cream, you're bringing it back to go so it's not melted. And
you brought rain into this?
Yeah, like you can't go anywhere. You're not going anywhere, so you're stuck in the house. and the only option is probably just watching TV. What are you putting on?
And we both got to watch it?
Well, and she's like, we could watch whatever you want to watch. And it's not a trick. She's just saying you could watch.
Well, I mean, and I'm thinking about her. I'm just thinking about myself.
Yeah, like, no, it's like, she's literally just like, Jeff, what do you want to watch?
You can watch whatever you want to watch.
And like, we'll watch what I want to watch. Like, we're going to go through 4 hours of film because, you know, so we choose one Jeff movie and one Liza movie. Yeah, what's Jeff's movie?
I'm putting on the Bourne trilogy. Hey, here's her putting on the Bourne trilogy.
Okay. I love watching like Jack Reacher and stuff like that. Yeah. No. Yeah. But the problem is that Alexis tells me that I get a little bit too aggressive as a like my vibe becomes more aggressive whenever I watch stuff like that.
That's interesting.
Not with her, but just in general. Like, I'm not out here hitting people just because I watch it. But like, I become less patient when I watch like stuff like Bourne.
I got to see. The reality is I don't watch a ton of movies anymore. It's like my wife and I watch.
Y'all are busy.
Well, we watched Law and Order. Like, we started episode 1, 1991. Bro, I mean, they were using fax machines and like
you can't even relate to it.
We started there and so now we're in 1997. They got cell phones now.
Bro, like
they're about the size of my face.
That's hilarious.
They're in cars and stuff, but. So, all right, so we don't necessarily hate rom-coms.
No.
Right, okay. Why do you make women sit around and talk about men in movies when men can talk about boobs for hours?
I just don't know any guys that talk about that.
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't talk about boobs for hours.
No, and even before I was saved, I don't remember sitting around. Like, I always thought, like, if guys, which don't get me wrong, I know that guys do that, but like, I always was like, bro, that's so weird that you guys are doing that. Like, why don't we just go like play basketball or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You know, as someone who is like probably over sexualized as a kid, I still don't. It's still not something I did. So that one I didn't understand. But all right, let me move to this one. This is an interesting one.
Yeah, let's get a better one.
Why do you automatically assume you won't like TV and movies that star a female? They like have a female lead.
That's fair. Let me see.
So.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me look up female lead. Because I don't even know female lead movies.
But that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I can't think of female lead movies. Like La Femme Nikita. That was like a show.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it was like a girl who like she was like an agent and she like kicked butt and stuff.
Nikita?
Maybe like Madam Secretary. See, I mean, I'm thinking of like shows. I can't even think of like movies.
Oh, hold on. There's some really good ones of like the girls that will go like sadly they're the kidnapped ones.
Oh yeah,
you have those where what was it? Halle Berry was in one.
Oh, Aaron Brockovich, that was a good one.
Yeah. No, there's some really fire ones.
But didn't you?
But I don't like not go for them. I feel like maybe it's Hollywood's fault. Because they only put female leads where it's like either sexualized maybe or the woman is a victim of something and then she's coming out rising out the ash. But like. So maybe they're not giving women the best leads.
Do you think that it's culture imitating life or life imitating culture? Is the you see what I'm saying? Like is the Hollywood imitating life or is life looking at Hollywood and going, "Oh, that's how we should be"?
I think Hollywood knows, maybe Hollywood knows what people want, but women consume a lot. They're really big percentage of consumers. So what if they just know women might not even want to see female leads, and so they only give women.
Interesting.
I don't know.
I will say this, like, and I don't know about movies as much, but I think about with music, I am drawn to like a dude singing.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
I think my favorite singers might be women.
Really?
Oh no, that's not true.
It's like schizophrenic Allan.
Bro, no, I just like. Yeah, there's a couple, but there's some female singers that I'm like top. I mean, Taylor Swift is number one.
Taylor Swift is definitely, but like I'm not a Swiftie for sure. But I like Taylor Swift when she was like younger, like her earlier albums.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I felt like they were.
I never listened to her. I just know that she's number one.
But her stuff now, my wife does. So I hear all this stuff, and I don't know. That's that's a good topic for another day though. About like, why is it that? Because you'll find a lot of women say that. I think like we can't be. She has a song. It's called Mad Woman, and in there she has a line where she talks about, why is it that I can't be mad? A dude gets mad and he's praised, but if a woman gets mad, she's a B word or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting take because I don't really think about it, but that's because I'm not a woman and I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
But that's the thing is, I think a lot of stuff is. Here goes. I'm making a word up, maybe, but it's Hollywoodified.
That's definitely. There's no maybe to that.
But the thing is this, like, I think a lot of things are maybe overgeneralizations that people make to then be able to use it to your benefit so that when you make content, people feel sympathy from you. Mm-hmm. So, like, I victimize myself, therefore all the people that victimize themselves of that same thing. And I'm not saying that women aren't the victims of that. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm also not saying that people are necessarily okay with men being angry all the time. Mm. Like, I feel like it's overgeneralization. I feel like both genders in their own, like, men have a lot of testosterone, so men get angry. But our come down is crazy. Like, when we, like, come off of an anger trip, like, we'll be hanging out and like, grab a soda or drink or whatever.
Like, girls cannot understand the idea that we
can fight.
We can literally like fight each other. I can hit you in the stomach or the head because I'm so mad at you.
And then we'll wrestle for like 3 minutes.
We'll be tired. And then they'll be like, yo, let's go get some belts, whatever.
So like, I mean, we do it in a different way. Yeah. And women do it in a different way. But even my wife and some other women that we know, like, will say, like, we could never do that. Like, the stuff you guys say to each other, like, we would lose friendships over.
Yes.
And so I don't even think it's men's fault. Like, men don't even hold women necessarily to that standard. Maybe women hold.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we're going too much on that.
No. I think that's a good. I mean, I think guys can relate to this, and I think if women are listening to this, I mean, hopefully, even just like if you don't understand it, but you can recognize it, right?
Yeah, facts.
Like if you, I don't really get what you're coming from, but I know apparently it's a thing, so I'm gonna let it play out like it does, and because sometimes you just, I mean, shoot, man, especially growing up, man. I remember some knockdown, drag-out fights, like with, what was my buddy's name? Riley. Gosh, I don't remember his last name. I got
he knocked it out of your head.
Bro, he was in 6th grade. I was in 4th, and we just got after the bus stop. Oh, my gosh. But, then we were playing wiffle ball the next day.
Yeah. That's me and my cousins would fight every single day. And then someone would get hit with an object, and then we'd go and play basketball after or something.
So that kind of like switches gear to masculinity, or like leads us into this discussion on masculinity. So the word masculinity, when you look this up, I mean, you guys can do your own research, but there is, essentially it's a Latin word, comes from masculine or the Latin masculus. And really, like, the Romans used this. It was in vogue. How many times do you think of the Roman Empire? It was in vogue, around the turn of the century and then before that. But really, it doesn't, when we talk about what does it actually mean, like, it really does just mean those things that are pertaining to men, those things that are generally characteristic of males. So it really started to pick up steam in the 12th and 13th centuries. It was used a lot more. And then if you look at kind of a use in literature, really it kind of flat. I mean, it just kind of stayed the same in its usage. And the 1950s, all of a sudden you see a spike. So literature and movies, and obviously we have like movies and things. Yeah, a crazy, like, think about that like, the it was the like wave you want to ride. It's like crypto. Crypto hit, man. You want to be on that.
when you join too late,
forget about it. So So it has been a thing more recently in the last 50 to 70 years. We're really kind of bringing this in. So it's interesting, right? Because what do you have in the 50s and 60s? You have the rise of feminism. You have, you see a lot of things happening even before that laid the groundwork. Like in the 20s and 30s and 40s, you had really a reliance more on we had FDR come in with the Great New Deal, and there's a reliance on government to kind of take care of you, and then you see gender roles starting to switch a little bit as women wanted more access to the workforce and wanted more financial independence. And I think a lot of that stemmed from, if you look at the baby boomer generation, just that stoicness and that whole, we've talked about it on here before, this toxic masculinity that says, yo, you take care of the home, I'll take care of everything else, and don't bother me. Like, if I bring home the money, you have to listen to me. Yeah. And that's a power trip that we would unequivocally deny is healthy, right? And so just now people are talking about it in the public spheres, femininity and masculinity, and they're going, is this really a thing? Because I'm a woman, I can make money. And before, other pertaining to things that were male men were the protectors and providers. Protectors, for sure, air quotes, protectors and providers. And so you have that kind of thing going on, and then you got the drug war in the 80s. So this massive, and listen, I'm not trying to make a political statement, but Reagan definitely declared war on drugs. And actually Reagan, as big of a conservative as he was, he brought in no-fault divorce into California in 1969, I believe it was. Legislation was the first legislation of its kind.
Where's it skyrocketed?
So then divorces, all of a sudden, I didn't need a reason. Before, it's I had to prove infidelity or I had to prove some kind of hardship. Now it's whatever reason, irreconcilable differences.
That's crazy.
That's what it was. So when that was brought in, it's women had this pathway to independence. It's I don't need a man. And so you have a lot of that hardcore feminism that comes in at that time. And then I do think in the 80s and 90s, you see this war on drugs. And what did it do? It gave us a lot of fatherless homes, right? Because now you've got divorces easier to get than ever. So marriage is devalued. Once marriage is devalued, you have people hooking up. Right?
Cultures have.
So they don't need
6 different homes with 2 dads that have made them.
Correct. And so now you got those homes without a father figure. And so crime goes up because you don't have dad in the home.
And anywhere that poverty is, poverty stricken, would be more criminalized, susceptible to being at least targeted, to be told that they're criminal.
Correct.
Minimum.
And so then you get the 3 strikes law, and it's hey, 1, 2, 3 strikes and you're out. And you got these minimum sentences that are sometimes 10 and 12 years for 3 strikes when they had a dime bag of marijuana or whatever. So now you've got,
which today they wouldn't even be in jail. There's people today that are incarcerated from back then, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
They'd be fine right now.
It's crazy. So this war on drugs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying drugs are good. They're not healthy. But we overreacted to this. And then you got the whole prison culture. And so now, and let's just be honest, they're privatized. Most of these prisons are privatized. You can make money by having people in jail. I mean, that's just a reality. Let's not politicize it. That's the reality. And so you've got now these kids growing up fatherless. And so there's this big discussion because women need to make money. They need to get equal access to the workforce. They need equal pay. And then, so all of those things and those discussions are coming up. And nowadays, what do you have? You have women who feel like they have got to do it all. They have to be the protector and provider. They got to be the mother they're supposed to be. They got to be a super mom, everything, make a home cooked meal, and
a good wife.
Or if
the dad's home,
or if the dad is home, but if he's not home,
then they're doing dad and mom duty.
They're doing it all. So all of this talk of the roles of men and women, when we talk about that, femininity and masculinity, we're saying, hey, there are roles that are typically defined as male and roles that are typically defined as female. That is in large part been assaulted.
Do y'all want to hear more of that conversation? Well, you can by becoming a Patros subscriber. You'll get exclusive member-only content. Just go to the link in the description or go to the Patros website.
Yeah, and when you become a subscriber, like what you're telling us is that you enjoy this content and you want to hear more of it. So every dollar that you give helps us do just that.
So thank you again for listening as we just together go on this journey of embracing healthy masculinity.